So a little throwback paper here. The general theory. Uh, well, I discovered what the Earth is, or the inside, if you will, of what the Earth is back in 2011. But I was trying to work it together in 2012, and I was like, how how could this be? How could scientists miss something that's obvious? And fortunately, hello Celeste. Fortunately, Michael of the DemystifySci channel, he had wrote me a small note, and I asked about the planet formation stuff and whatnot about Robitaille's presentation at the conference earlier with the eclipse, and he said that Robitaille has finally acknowledged that the star was cool and moved down the HR diagram along the quote main sequence. So this bar right here. And that was a start, because in the mainstream, the stars don't move like that. In the mainstream, if you look up a recent diagram, they go like this. They go all over the place. And then they go over here and over here and over here and down here. So there's no real method to the madness. It's just madness. I'm happy that Robitaille's considered that, or at least he said it in his words. Maybe he's considering it right now, I'm not sure. Because what led me to know, I guess I shouldn't use the word know, but what led me to realize deeper and deeper how confused astronomers really were was the fact that they had a diagram of stars which clearly moved down to the lower right hand side like this, but then they stop. This doesn't exist on the bottom right here. And to anybody who understands heat, like when you heat up a piece of metal, it gets hotter and hotter and hotter, and it moves up the spectrum, if you will, and it becomes brighter. So it moves from deep dark red to red and orange to yellow to white hot. And basically that's this part right here. But what happens when the metal cools down? You can't see it anymore, right? It's just down there somewhere. Well, if you look at their actual sizes, brown dwarfs are really small. What happened with the brown dwarf? You can't see it any longer because the thermal radiation just cools down too much where you can't really see it. Same thing would happen with a piece of metal in outer space. If metal is no longer glowing, it would just be a big rock. There's nothing to see. There's no spectrum. And that's what the Jupiters are. And I was like, why not keep on going? What happens if it continues going and loses more mass? And then I realized that it's the Jupiter, which is the young Earth, because it's forming the Earth in its interior. It's cooling down very, very slowly because of its large metallic hydrogen blankets around it. And it's forming the interior Earth. And Neptune and Uranus are intermediate stages between that too, and it all just sort of comes together. So I guess what I'm saying is to realize that this moves down all the way down here is more or less a pre-theory insight. It's like a breadcrumb on a trail. You pick up the breadcrumb, and then you go in the direction of back home, like in the Hansel and Gretel story. But it's not the home itself. This isn't do the entire theory justice. It just leads you in the direction where you should be going. And that being said, like in Hansel and Gretel, the breadcrumbs were eaten one of the times that they put it down by some birds, and they couldn't find their way back. But I can't remember exactly how that story went. And another thing is I've learned over the years to just keep quiet and just pay attention to people, just to listen. I've sort of grown out of trying to convince people of the idea because it's so obvious and so real to me that it's like trying to convince people water is wet or the sun is bright or knives are usually sharp or when the stove is on you don't want to touch the stove. I've had enough time just warning people, of telling them what's going on, and it's just I no longer want to pull my hair out. So I guess I'll leave it up to Michael and his coursework in his astronomy classes, and maybe even if Robitaille fully understands where this is going and where I've taken it, then more that will be made out of it. But it's sort of, I've reached this part where I'm just pulling my hair out now. I don't want to. And the saying that fits quite well with this is pearls before swine. I don't want to throw something valuable to somebody and then not either A, understand it, or B, be appreciative of what it is. You don't want to throw something valuable away like that. You're just wasting your time. A pig isn't going to understand the value of a pearl. You know, it'll just stomp all over them and maybe even eat them. But anyways, I think it sums up this enough. This is 2012. I put this up there. And I realized that stars are young planets and planets are older stars. So it's been a few years now that the years are starting to grow longer and longer and longer. It's just kind of weird. I didn't think it would take this long. I thought it would be something extremely obvious. All right, there you go.